In this video, Pessimistic Prime will spam the phrase "you know," as if he is a professional Mortal Kombat 1 spammer. Please ignore this amateur's limited vocabulary. At the end of reviewing every dusty figure, Pessimistic Prime will rate the figure from 1 to 10. If you do not agree with his rating, then prepare to bring out your torches and pitchforks. Enjoy the video.
What is going on, all my lovely Transformer nerds out there? How you guys doing today? I'm doing all right. You know, can't complain. I'm living and breathing, baby. God bless me with another day to wake up and to see the world and just be thankful that I get to spend it with you guys today. So thank you guys for coming back and checking out my latest video on this channel. And for today's video, I got something cool. It is a Transformers OG toy haul video. And I did not go to an actual toy store to get these figures. I went to a personal toy store of mine, aka my childhood bedroom. Yes, I went there. I visited them and I was like, you know what, I got some cool figures that I want to take home and add to my collection and my bungalow of a home. Just before I continue with the video, just to give you guys a heads up, I know these figures are dusty as a motherfucker. I realize that they are dusty as hell. I don't want to see any comments of people saying, "Oh, Mr. Prime, they're dusty as hell. You don't take care of your stuff." I know. I haven't cleaned them yet. I promise you guys, I am cleaning the figures and they will look well and clean and they'll look brand spanking new. The time for talking is over now, guys. Let's jump right into the video. And to start off this banger of a video, we got Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class, Sentinel Prime. You know what? This is a great first crack at adapting the character from the live action movie. You know, what I love about this figure, it's a true leader class size figure, which I know you guys are going to come for me in the comments below, but hey, this is just my opinion, all right? The back cable is kind of, you know, it's there, but at this point, I really don't care. You know, I can't complain. Another thing, the blade is too small, you know, it's too small. The leg joints and the hip joints for this figure, look at this. These joints are so weak. They're really bad. It's just due to wear and tear, you know, and then, you know, when it's like that, you know, his triangle wiener is sticking out, which, you know, that's always stuck out to me is the triangle wiener. Hey, just no homo, just saying. But yeah, other than that, you know, I like the figure. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. Next figure we have up is Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Leader Class Predaking, baby. Oh man, I love this figure. I've always loved this figure, man. I love the leader class size for it. It's a really detailed figure, which I appreciate. Got a simple transformation when it turned it to the dragon mode. One thing, I did lose the tail sword. I have no idea where it went. You know, that was years ago. It's a great design for the character too, and I appreciate that you can take the wings off. I really like that because in the show when he transforms in robot mode, you know, the wings are gone. You can't see them. You can spread the wings. You can have them in different angles, and I like that. My only gripe is the head. The dragon head is sticking out in the back. That's a really bad back kibble, and I really wish that they could have found a better way to hide the head. I would have maybe split it in half and have it attached to the wings in the back, but that's just me talking. But man, I love this figure, and I would give it 8 out of 10. Next figure, we got Transformers The Last Knight Leader Class Megatron. First thing right off the bat, this is where you can tell the leader class size has started to shrink, you know. The figure is stiff, man. That's another thing that kind of stands out is it's how stiff it is, you know. That's what she said. But the cannon is too bulky for the arm, you know. It just look at how bulky it is. I really didn't like that. I do like that it came with the flame effect piece, which I thought was really cool. The backpack, it's not too bad, you know. It sticks out a little bit, but it's not terrible, and it honestly could have been worse if you really think about it. It's still bulky though, but not sticking out, which I'm fine with. And the figure also somewhat feels cheap to me. It's really light, you know, and I really don't know how much this was back in the day. But another thing that you can do with it too is you can change and move the face mask that he has. I mean, it's not that really eye-catching, but yeah, the figure, it feels a little cheap, you know, but I would give this figure a solid 6 out of 10. Okay, moving on, next figure, we got Transformers Fall of Cybertron Voyager Class Soundwave, and a little bit of bad kibble, but not bad at all. This is a great figure. I wish it wasn't a Voyager Class, honestly. I wish it was a deluxe. I mean, I really don't see why they made him a Voyager Class, other than the fact that, you know, of having laser beak in the chest and having that mechanic where you can shoot him out, you know, and that's kind of difficult to do when it's a deluxe. But one of the icks, you know, the new thing now that the kids say is ick, one of the icks that I have is the wrist. The wrists keep going back into the forearm, which I don't know why. It just kind of drives me insane every time I would handle this figure. The wrist would just go back in, and then it'd be a mission to pull the damn wrist back out. But yeah, the other thing, I lost the shoulder cannon. I don't know where it went. Like I said, this was years ago when I got this figure, and who knows what little pessimistic Prime did back then with these figures. But another thing is long arms, man, with some really awkward shoulders, which I guess it's okay, but you know, the shoulders stick out. The chest opening mechanic that also releases Laserbeak 2. That's pretty cool. Yes, I lost Laserbeak. I don't know what happened. Like I said, little pessimistic Prime was kind of rough with these figures back in the day. You know, I was throwing these guys everywhere and shit. Honestly, I rated a 6.5 out of 10. Okay. We got Transformers Prime Voyager class Shockwave, boy. Woo, man. Oh, I absolutely love this figure, man. It's my favorite Shockwave design. I don't give a I think this is a peak Shockwave design right here. You know, obviously you have this mechanic where you can spin his cannon, which I don't know why I got excited spinning that earlier. I don't know. I must be autistic or something. I don't know. I like that he's a Voyager. I like that, you know, even though he's not as big as Megatron on the show, but I like that he's a Voyager. The negative thing is you can't turn and twist his hips. You know, the figure is kind of, he's a little stiff, you know. That's kind of the only negative that I got with this figure. Or, you know, also the mechanics for the legs cause the legs to feel stiff, you know. But other than that, I love this figure. Look, it's got zero back kibble, man. You know how excited I get to see a zero back kibble figure? Woohoo! I sound like Mario right there. What the Anyway, sorry about that. I would rate this figure, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, the only thing holding it back is how stiff it is with the legs, you know, and that you can't twist the hip. You know, I really wish you can do that. But yeah, you can just see the detail of this figure. They really knocked it out of the park when designing this figure. And honestly, there's zero wasted space on this figure, which I love. And it's got an easy, simple transformation process into his Cybertronian tank. And yeah, 8 out of 10. I love this figure. Oh man, we got a big boy coming into town. We got Transformers Age of Extinction Voyager class Hound. Oh man, this is another great figure that I love, man. I love everything about this figure. You know, one thing that stands out is the detail on this figure, man. I think they really knocked it out of the park when it came to designing this figure. And I honestly think, in my opinion, this figure is way better than the Last Night version of this figure, in my opinion. But look at the detail on this figure. The legs, the arms, the face. All around, this figure has so much detail. And there's no back kibble, man. No back kibble. Let's go, man. I honestly didn't realize back then how great this figure was up until now. This figure is awesome. I love how many weapons they gave him, staying true to the live action version where he just was pulling a gun out from every fucking inch of his body, probably pulling a gun out of his fucking booty hole. You know, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. But zero back kibble. The only gripe that I have though, yeah, there is some kibble on his hands, on the back of his hands and the back of his arms, which, you know, it kind of gets in the way, but you know, I can't complain, you know. But I wish he had his beer belly. I also wish he had that redneck beer belly. But, you know, you can't get everything you want. But this figure, I love this figure. This is a solid 8.5 out of 10. All right. Next figure we got is Transformers War for Cybertron Deluxe Class Megatron. And one thing to notice right off the bat is, yes, I did use a lot of Sharpie on this figure, you know. I was trying to give this figure some more color, you know. I want to break up all the whiteness, you know, on the figure. And as the kids say these days, you know, give this figure some culture. I wanted to add some culture to this guy, you know. Anyways, you know, another thing to point out is I wish this guy was a Voyager class size figure. You know, I don't understand why they made him a deluxe class. I'm sure there's a reason behind it, but I wish he was a Voyager, you know. But other than that, man, this figure is almost a perfect figure. Like zero back kibble whatsoever, which I love and I know everybody out there loves. This figure is also in good shape. It's still in good shape after all these years, you know, of me battering this damn figure, you know, whenever I would have these world-ending battles. Figure's in good shape, you know, the arms are a little stiff, you know, especially when you want to have this guy, you know, point his arm cannon, you know, in a certain direction. Other than that, no wasted space whatsoever when it comes to transforming this guy into his tank mode. And honestly, this guy is near perfect. I rate this guy 9 out of 10. Okay, so next Transformer figure on the list, we have Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class High Octane Bumblebee, and I actually like this figure a lot, and I have a soft spot for this figure. I don't know why, but I remember liking this figure a lot when I was younger, and the figure seems so simple, but yet so complex in a way. I can't really explain it, but to start off by saying, the detail on the face is immaculate. It's remarkable how they're able to get all that detail on this small figure. And of course, I'm not a fan of the backpack. When it comes to, live action Bumblebee movies, I think we should all expect, some pretty out there bat kibble when it comes to these figures, and the one thing that baffles me is this arm cannon. What is this? What am I looking at? Other than that, this figure definitely needs more color and some, oomph to it, especially the legs. But, overall, I would give this figure a 6.5 out of 10. And speaking of Bumblebees, the next figure we got is Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Bumblebee, his 2014 Camaro version. One thing I do like is the detail on this figure. Actually, mainly the face, the chest, the torso, and legs. It got some great detail on it. And obviously, I'm not a fan of the shoulders and arms. It kind of seems like they just gave up on the arms and shoulders, and the backpack is an eyesore, man. I can't lie. It's an eyesore. The way that it, sticks up behind the head, whatever this is for a cannon, this sorry ass arm cannon. And even when I was little, I always thought it was pathetic. But I would say, it's honestly not a bad crack at this figure. The design for this Bumblebee, is already complex enough, and I knew it would be a challenge to turn that live action design into a figure and a toy. So, I would say, at the time, I think they did their best. I think there's obviously some things that they could have worked on, but especially the back kibble. But other than that, not a bad crack at this figure, and I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Okay, moving on now. We got Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Drift, and I'm not really a fan of this figure at all. I mean, I'm just not a fan of how bulky the figure is, but I know the design is hard to translate from, live action to actual figure. So I know that's why it's bulky. So don't come for me in the comments. It's basically the same as the Studio Series. So the back kibble it's a big backpack, and it's out there, and I'm not a fan of it, obviously, and it's okay. And another thing, it's not very much detail on the face either. It's just all gold, and it looks like a samurai Colonel Sanders, I think they did the best they could back in 2014. I can't really hag them too much for this figure, and it's an okay figure. And honestly, I just give it a 5 out of 10. I think this is I would say this is the lowest ranked figure that I got. So 5 out of 10. Now moving on from Samurai Colonel Sanders, we got Transformers Fall of Cybertron Kickback Deluxe Class figure, and this is a great figure. This is great. I wish we got more Insecticons from the game. I wish we got more of them in the mainline edition for these figures. Another thing too, zero back kibble, man. Zero back kibble. I don't know why they gave him this big ass weapon. I don't remember if he had this in the game, so bear with me. It's been a while since I played the game. The weapon has this disc effect where you push the top part of this weapon, it shoots the disc out, which I guess is pretty cool. It's real flexible. You can pose this figure in many different angles. And what rating would I give this figure? Honestly, I would give this figure a 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, man. This is a perfect figure, other than the big ass weapon that they give him, but I can't gripe on them. And yeah, zero back kibble, zero wasted space. This figure is really easy to transform into his Insecticon form. So yeah, it's a great figure. And like I said, I just wish we got more Insecticons in the mainline issue for these figures back in the day. But a boy can dream. A boy can dream like Martin Luther King, baby. Okay, next up, we got Transformers Fall of Cybertron Deluxe Class Shockwave. I like this figure. My only really gripe for this figure is just how skinny the legs are, That's just a little nitpick. Zero back kibble, baby. This is what I've been loving about these old mainline figures for Transformers Fall of Cybertron. It's just the no back kibble, no wasted space. You can see the detail on his face. Another thing to add, I lost his arm cannon long time ago. So, like I've been saying before, guys, I got these figures when I was young back in the day, and I was rough with these figures. I played with these guys every single day, and who knows where that arm cannon went. I wish you could also turn his hips. Yeah, this is a great figure. What would I give this figure? I would probably give him a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 out of 10. The guys definitely skipped leg day, but I would say probably a 7 out of 10. Next figure we got Transformers Universal Studios Ride Deluxe Class Evac. And man, this figure has a special place in my heart, man. I got this figure, when I was a lot younger, and it was good memories when I went to Universal Studios. But right off the bat, Yeah, that backpack is that backpack's an eyesore, man, and it's just there. They didn't even try to like figure out a way to fold it, or condense the backpack. But you know what? I can't really nitpick at this point. The detail on the front. This actually well detailed figure. I always thought that this design would be a good live action smokescreen design. I don't know if you would agree with me, but that's what I think. I always thought it'd be a good live action smokescreen. Yeah, the figure is cool. It's actually a really solid figure. There is times where the backpack limits the movement and flexibility of this character when you try to pose him. But honestly, this is a solid figure, and I would give it a 7 out of 10. Moving on to the next figure, we got Transformers Age of Extinction Deluxe Class Crosshairs. And this is also a figure that's near and dear to my heart. So I have some bias towards this figure, especially when comparing it to the Studio Series. Of course, I do think the Studio Series is better slightly in some departments. Obviously, the Studio Series has a lot more detail compared to the mainline figure here. And of course, this figure has a lot of back kibble compared to the Studio Series, but also the Studio Series got a lot of back kibble. So honestly, I would say I would still take the Studio Series version over this one, but I still think that the mainline figure here is still close second. I always liked how they incorporated the trench coat. Obviously, you have to stick it underneath his chest for it to stick there, but obviously it's a shelf former at the end of the day. This Crosshairs will forever be known as a shelf former figure, which is unfortunate because, it's a badass design in the live action movies, and it's a shame, obviously not a lot of detail for the face, and that's what the Studio Series does so much better is the detail on the face. Another thing is, the shoulders, just so much kibble on the shoulders, with the wheels sticking out, and, the Studio Series cleans that up a lot. As you can tell, these guys are dusty, and I got a lot of cleaning up to do when it comes to these figures. So I would give them a 6 out of 10. Solid figure, but yeah, there is a lot of negative compared to positive. And rounding out our toy haul, we got Transformers Fall of Cybertron Deluxe Class Starscream. And like I said before, these Fall of Cybertron figures are just knocking it out of the park when it comes to just design, no back kibble, just how easy it is to transform them into their Cybertronian alt modes. And just like I said, zero wasted space, and same goes for Starscream here. As you saw earlier, the leg is really, really wiggly, and that's just due to wear and tear over the years, man. This is what happens when you keep these figures for a while, and you throw them around a lot when you're young. This is what happens. But I think that this figure, this mainline Fall of Cybertron figure, is so much better than the Studio Series figure that they just released last year. Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think a lot of people would agree with me. The way that they are able to just simplify this figure, where the Studio Series, I think, complicates the figure a lot. So honestly, I'm going to give this guy, I would say, a 10 out of 10. This is a perfect figure in my opinion. I love this Starscream, and I think it's 10 times better than the Studio Series figure. And that does it for today's video, guys. Let me know down below in the comment section what you thought of this video, as well as let me know which figure was your favorite and not favorite. Let's have a conversation down below, guys. And again, I apologize for these figures for being as ashy and as dusty as Kevin Durant's kneecaps. I apologize. Like I said, I am working on cleaning these figures and making sure that by the time I put them on my shelf in my collection, they look brand spanking new. But as always, guys, I appreciate all your love and support for this channel, and thank you all for checking out today's video. And always remember, till all are one.